Can you share with us a little bit about your path to have that courage and be more open as a human being?
Yeah, again, it's really wonderfully mundane because it's all about practice, trial and error, making mistakes, and having a willingness to pick myself up every time I hit the floor. And if you hit the floor 100 times, that's okay, as long as you get up 101. Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's really been that, and learning to embrace the vulnerability. Like I said before, there are aspects when I got diagnosed with bipolar disorder, I was actually thrilled when I got the diagnosis, which sounds weird,
It,
right?
it, it does. Please elaborate.
Yeah, yeah.
What does
Because
that mean?
wait a second, you just got diagnosed with a mental illness and you're excited about it? How does that work? Because it was causing chaos in my life, and I didn't know what was going on. I had an inkling and a feeling, but it took a while to get the diagnosis. But when that happened, the relief, now I know what's happening. Now I know how to address it. What I learned since was just because you got the diagnosis doesn't mean you know how to address it. It's an ongoing process of discovery and sometimes learning the hard way, frustratingly. So that's been a journey. But again, it's been this kind of give and take with this of I accept it, no, I don't. Maybe the diagnosis is incorrect. Maybe it's something else. And I would want to reframe it and reposition it and question it and doubt it and all that kind of stuff. And then I'd have experiences that would bring me right back and go, yeah, this is what you're dealing with. But to get to the point where I was willing to open up in a book, because once it's in print, it doesn't come back, or to talk about it in a conversation like this, that was a big step for me, because being the president of a big organization, I've got big networks of people where I've always been field facing, especially as a public speaker. You've got audiences in front of you. To talk about something like mental health and be that candid, it was a big step. But the starting point for me was a surprise. I was at an event as a keynote speaker in the south of England, and I was asked to give two presentations. One was, the journey to success. It was for a group of entrepreneurs. What does success look like as an entrepreneur? And the other question was, what are some of the obstacles and how do we overcome it? How do we deal with the tough stuff? And when I got to day two, dealing with the tough stuff, I thought, I'm going to talk about my disorder here and share that. Worst case scenario, I don't think I'm going to see this group again. So this was a case study, a practice for me to see what would happen. And I explained to them that I've got an advantage over you in dealing with adversity and the tough stuff in business. And I said, I'm going to tell you what that is. I have somewhat of a superpower. And that superpower is I have bipolar disorder. And the people that knew me looked shocked. Wait a minute, what? I did not know that about you. And then I started to explain the lessons that I'd gleaned from the disorder and how it had informed me as a business leader and helped me as an entrepreneur, and how it had been a blessing in my life and had brought about some great lessons and instruction that I wouldn't trade for anything. And afterwards, people had tears in their eyes. They were moved. Tons of people connected with me online, and it had been a transformative experience for them. And I learned that there was benefit in my struggles for other people. And as a consequence of that, going to your question of joy, ironically or paradoxically, the struggle that I went through, I learned was not about me. And as I can get out and be comfortable enough to talk about it with others, then I can bring joy to others. I can bring hope to others. And if they're struggling, they can go, okay, if Ben can do it, if he can have bipolar disorder, have his father go to prison, find himself on the other side of the world from his network of support with 50 pounds in his pocket and not be able to further his education or do anything, and yet become a self-made entrepreneur by the age of 40 and have a 20-year marriage with 7 children and one on the way. If he can do all of that, then maybe I can do this. Yeah. And if I can bring a little bit of hope and a little bit of encouragement to someone else for that reason, that makes it all worthwhile, doesn't it? And there is the joy, there is the happiness that comes. And it's a great feeling. It's an awesome feeling that can come from that.